Recently, we took a trip to North Carolina in search of our colonial ancestors who pioneered the coastal region. Our first stop on our journey was Yopps Meeting House, also known as Yopps Primitive Baptist Church and Graveyard. The church building is now an historical landmark and is located in Sneads Ferry in Onslow County, North Carolina. The current building was built around 1890, but the Friends of Yopps Meeting House organization says there may have been a log precursor built as early as 1813. The cemetery has many unusually shaped wood headstones. Their shape is new to me. I asked one of the many cemetery groups I belong to if anyone was familiar with this type of wood marker, and one member answered that they were common in the colonial era, and the shapes represent the gender. So if you are able to give us more information on these unusual markers, please let us know in the video's comment section. We are here today to find my 8th-time great-grandfather, so come along as we look for him. So we're going to make our way further up the coast. We're right outside of Surf City and Topsail Beach, and we're on our way to Beaufort, and a lot of my family's from that area and Bath and stuff, and we're gonna see what we can find up there when it comes to the Everetts and the Stubbs. So stay tuned, and you know, on my exploration of trying to find Mr. Martini and my family here in North Carolina. So we're in Sneads Ferry. Right off the road is the Yopps Meeting House. This was built in the late 1800s. There was an original church and it burnt down, and they built this. So right now this is maintained by the Friends of the Yopps Meeting House. So the cemetery goes far back. We're gonna kind of check it out real quick because I am still in a boot from my surgery, my foot surgery. So we'll see how far I can walk. So I'm here to find my 8th times great-grandfather, Nathaniel Everett. He was born in the 1600s and died in the early 1700s. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find him because this is actually a really big cemetery. So he's supposed to be in the older section, and I think a lot of stuff might be fenced off. So we'll see what we can find. So it's a pretty big cemetery. I mean, it goes way back into these woods. These look like they're later graves, because I'm seeing like 2004, 1917. So this is the African American cemetery. These were the parishioners of the church. Again, the one that's here now. The original burnt down. But there's also a lot of unmarked graves in there too. So let's see what we got here. African American Cemeteries, Sneads Ferry, North Carolina. Interfaith community. So it's fenced off. That area is kind of roped off too, so there must be some unmarked graves over there. There's not many headstones in here, so I think we have a lot of unmarked graves. So you can go in. It's not locked. It's just cordoned off. There's a gate right here. So, but most of the headstones are over here on this side. Let's see what we have. Spicer, George H. Spicer. This is a military headstone along with Sam Ward. Sam Ward was a private in Georgia, World War I. And George Spicer, North Carolina private. I'm not seeing exactly the war. Still looking in the African American cemetery. Fernie Hayes is the big headstone there. Father, 1866 to 1940. So looks like the fence fell down here in the African American cemetery. Very cool. So somebody had bought some of the property around here, and it's cordoned off because they're pretty sure that there's graves back in there. But they have all this marked off because they had problems with trucks and people coming back here. Kind of became a lover's lane. But what's cool over here are all these wooden headstones. I have never seen wooden headstones like this. They're like all through the forest here. They're very cool. Let's take a closer look at them. Those are really cool. And they're all through this forest.
What type of marker did
In here is the Yopps family. There was also some Yopps up in front too, so the church is named after them. And they're not that old either. I mean, 2005, 1969, but yet those are old back in there. So this is the original Yopps. 1900, looks like a baby. So, still haven't found my grandfather though. His headstone is flat. It's a replacement stone, it looks like. It's misspelled. It says Everett, but it's got an E on the end for some reason. Again, these wooden ones are really cool. I've never seen ones like that. Let me know down in the description if you've ever seen these types of wood headstones like that in the older section. So this is probably Anna Maria. She died in 1812. Here's Jarvis Marble. He died in 1814. So I think we're getting closer to my grandfather because the headstones are getting a lot older.
This is where the wood ones start.
There's actually two Everetts in here. There's a John Everett also, which I think was either a son or a brother. Still figuring that out. And but he doesn't seem to have a headstone. And then the Nathaniel's headstone was replaced by a flat one. There's some more of those wood ones.
Midget, there's a lot of midgets
So this is sooner ones. Elliot Andrews. Those are old, but you can't read them. This one's all mounded. How old is this one? No.
By the American flag?
I don't know what you're talking about. This one's, yeah, see, these are not that old. Where are you, Grandpa? Let's see, so I'm kind of behind the church right now. I still haven't found him. What's that one say? Riggs. See, that's the other thing too, is there's a lot of pine needles and leaves, and you know, his headstone is flat. Yeah, no. So here's a lot of flat ones. I'll have to pull aside the leaves on all of these. These are older back here, so maybe there's a real hodgepodge. So there's Jenkins, Caps, Rhodes, Guthrie. This was an infant, and this tree has just grown right through his grave. It says Henry A. and Laura Rhodes. Something on earth, budded on earth to bloom in heaven. And I'm not seeing a date unless it's on the other side. But no, I don't see a date. But it's a pretty old headstone. Where are you, Grandpa? It's kind of a cool grave, kind of hidden in the forest there. Owens. Again, there's probably graves all through the forest, the thicket, and you just can't get in there. Harrison. No! I'm in an older section, but I haven't seen anything yet. There's some more Yopps. God, there's a lot of Yopps buried here. Oh my God, so there's a bunch of Everetts right up in front here. This is, so it's like, here's the
1935, 1938, 1938.
So these are all descendants, I'm sure.
1984.
So we have Reuben Edward Everett, Clara, wife of R.J. Everett. These are all the 30s that they died in. But I've yet to find my grandfather. See, these are all recent Everetts. So this is like a plot here.
I mean, some of these were born in 1861.
Yeah, here's two infants. But these are all in the 30s, the late 30s. Actually, they all died very close to each other. So this infant Everett, son of Ira and Mammy Everett, September 24th, 1939, asleep in Jesus. This baby, because you can always tell by the lamb on top, is also their son, and says September 6, 1938. So these guys died within weeks of each other. No, this was a year before. It looks like he was born September 6, 1938, and died that following November. And then this child died the following year, the same month. Oh my goodness, that's so sad. And I'm pretty sure that this Everetts are part of my family, Clara and Reuben. So Clara died, wife of R.I. Everett. She died in 1938. And the baby died, this baby died months later, but the same year. And then Reuben Everett died in 1935. So they all boom, 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 year after year. I mean, that's so sad. And then these Everetts are recent. Actually, these are the parents of the children that died. So based on these dates, these must have been parents of Ira, based on the dates that they were born, because these guys were born during the Civil War. And then he was born in 1894, so maybe they were grandparents to Ira and Mammy. Because they were born, Mammy was born in 1914, died recently in 1984. Ira was born in 1894, died in 1979. It also looks like there might be some other graves here. But yet, I've yet to find my grandfather. So, this doesn't even have stairs into the building. Let's see if we can look through the window. See what's going on inside here. So, looks like there's no flooring. Oh, it's totally being, the ceiling looks like it's kind of torn apart too. Oh yeah, there's definitely graves in here. Matter of fact, there's a really old placard right there.
Another imploded grave.
Yeah, so these are, you can see the depressions here in this area. Yeah, that whole forested area. Well, and I think there's graves, I think, back in that forest too. There's got to be.
I don't think it ends at the road.
No, they pretty much said that it goes into the forest, and that the guy that bought the land next to the property is leaving a buffer because they're pretty sure there's graves there. So he's like not going to build in that area. So all through that forest, but I don't see any headstones, but I'm sure it's the older area. Well, at least, I found some Everetts. I mean, there's old fencing right there. This is still African American section. The Hassels, Louise, Annette. So we're walking back to where the pond is. There's something there.
Concrete blocks.
Just blocks.
This might be a dump zone. That all might have been dumped because you can pull a pickup truck back here.
Well, I know they were having problems with people coming back here. And drinking and kissing and doing all sorts of smooching type of stuff.
Races.
Watching the submarine races. Come on, baby, let's do it in the graveyard. Okay, so here's the pond. And a guy that I was watching was doing paranormal here in the graveyard said that there was a gator back here sunning himself. But we're not seeing anything like that.
No, I walked kind of down to the water's edge and I ain't seen no eyes, but there's a big old concrete culvert pipe there he's probably sleeping in.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to crawl in there.
And it's, chilly for them right now. So we definitely have not come across Nathaniel Everett's grave. And to be honest with you, I think it's a mistake. Unless he's buried where these wooden headstones are and there's a replacement headstone underneath the leaves, I don't think he's here. because I'm not seeing that old of graves here. I mean, he died in the early 1700s, and I'm not seeing graves that date back that far. And I don't know how far these wooden ones go. So it's definitely the older section right in here and into the woods. So I'm really bummed. I can't find my grandfather, my 8th-time grandfather, Nathaniel Everett. I did find some Everetts though. So the Everetts were like all through this area. But the Everetts I found were very recent Everetts. You know, they died in the 30s. Recent to me for what I'm looking for. Because Nathaniel died in the early 1700s. But to be honest with you, I'm not seeing that old of graves. So I'm kind of questioning whether there's some kind of mistake. I have seen a picture of his headstone, but you can tell it's a replacement one. That's misspelled. It's got an E on the end of Everett. But I'm kind of questioning that he was buried here, and the only reason is that he lived up north a little bit ways, and usually you were buried, you know, by where you lived. And so all I could figure was that he went to live with a relative when he got older. So I don't know. I'm going to keep looking. Also in the back here is a pond, and supposedly there's an alligator there. So if you come here, be careful. We haven't seen him yet, but I'm still looking.